Day 23 of the war in Ukraine. Where is Vladimir Putin's invasion going? The answer depends on who you ask. Russia says its offensive has been a success. Ukraine claims Russian forces are making no progress. The militaries of both countries are still fighting each other. The diplomats are discussing the possible terms for truce. The West claims none of these negotiations are going to work. They say Vladimir Putin is planning a more aggressive offensive, one that could possibly clear the path for a regime change in Kiev. So what is happening on the battleground? We begin tonight with the top 10 updates. Number one, more missile strikes in Kiev. Once again, a residential complex was hit. One person was killed, 4 others were wounded. Kiev's mayor was at the scene today. His name is Vitaly Klitschko. He's a former world boxing champion. As a boxer, he never held his punches. And as a mayor, he's sticking by those rules. The target of his punches this time was Vladimir Putin. This is what he told the WION team on the ground.
If we're talking about mistake, his mistake last morning was a mistake. 24 hours ago, 2 days ago was mistake. Huge mistake. Destroyed the Kharkiv and Mariupol. How many mistakes they do it? How many civilians have to killed? And after that to explain about mistake from Russian forces.
Meanwhile, Russian forces are moving towards western Ukraine. That's update number 2. Lviv was targeted today. This city is a humanitarian hub, a safe haven of sorts for those who are displaced in Ukraine. Many believe the city will not be targeted, but today Russian missiles reached Lviv too. They fell near the city's airport. An aircraft repair plant was destroyed. There was black smoke everywhere. This is near Ukraine's border with Poland. The mayor of Lviv has appealed for help.
It is an attack on Lviv, a humanitarian hub with at least 200,000 displaced people who have already fled the fighting zone. And this blow is a confirmation that they are not at war with the Ukrainian army, but with the civilians, children, women, and displaced people.
A no-fly zone could protect Ukraine. Volodymyr Zelensky has been asking for it, but the West has refused. And Russia is making the most of it. That's update number 3. Russia has established its own no-fly zone. This is in the separatist-controlled DONBASS region. The objective is clear. It knows Ukraine's weakness is the sky, so it wants to dominate the airspace. The next major escalation could happen in the high seas, we're told. That's update number 4. Reports say Russian forces are planning a lightning advance. The Russian Navy has a major role here. The plan, we are told, is this. There's a major build-up of Russian naval forces near the coastal city of Odessa. From Odessa, they will move east to surround the Ukrainian forces in Donetsk and Luhansk, the Donbass region. What's the endgame? Encircle Ukraine's army from all directions, on the ground, on the high seas, and in the skies. Russia wants to claim total control and dictate terms. The U.S. has made some dire predictions. Update number 5. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has issued a warning. He says Russia has no intention of stopping this offensive and that the Kremlin was never serious about negotiating. Blinken says Russia could use chemical weapons in Ukraine next. Pro-Russian mercenaries could be deployed and local officials could be kidnapped. Washington says Moscow wants to install pro-Russian puppet leaders.
We believe that Moscow may be setting the stage to use a chemical weapon and then falsely blame Ukraine to justify escalating its attacks on the Ukrainian people. Manufacturing events and creating false narratives of genocide to justify greater use of military force is a tactic that Russia has used before, including in Georgia. We believe Russia will bring its mercenaries from private military groups and foreign countries to Ukraine.
Russia will bring mercenaries to Ukraine. Blinken could be referring to this. 1,000 Chechens are joining the Russian forces in Ukraine. Reports say they have volunteered to fight for Russia. Earlier this week, some videos emerged. There are Chechen fighters. As you can see, a man is addressing them. He is Chechen leader Ramazan Kadyrov. On the radio, he was speaking to Adam Delimkhanov. Delimkhanov is a member of the Russian State Duma. Here's another video. It shows Chechen fighters in a room. There are Russian and Chechen flags on the wall. So with more fighters entering the battleground, will the Ukraine war intensify? What about the talks? They haven't borne fruit yet. That's update number 7. Ukraine's defense minister is leading the negotiations for Kiev. Today he said that lawyers are drafting a peace deal, but only Moscow can make a breakthrough possible. What does Ukraine want from Russia? A ceasefire. They want the bombing to stop. Russia is yet to commit to a ceasefire. Ukraine is desperate. It's running out of food. Update number 8. The United Nations World Food Programme is sounding an alarm. The food supply chains in Ukraine are collapsing. That's because the bombing and fighting is destroying infrastructure. Many grocery stores and warehouses are already empty. Ukraine seems helpless and out of options. Its people are suffering all kinds of horrors. Update number 9. Russian forces have been accused of raping and executing elderly women. Ukrainian lawmakers have made these claims. 4 of them have briefed British lawmakers in London about this. These charges are serious. They must be investigated by an independent agency. Ukraine has been lobbying the West for more help. It is planning for the long haul, which means training more civilians to fight. Update number 10. Ukraine has sought help from the US again. They want funding, training and weapons. What for? A long-term resistance movement against Russia. This could include supporting volunteer formations of civilian fighters. An insurgency, basically. Traditional wars were won by putting more boots on the ground, and Ukraine needs a bigger fighting force to take on the mighty Russian army. But this is not a traditional war. It is being fought on the battlefield as well as on the World Wide Web. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.